Okay, so welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're heading over to Nigeria,
Right.
specifically Ibadan. There was a recent court case that has kind of become a big deal over there,
Okay.
and it involves a stampede and some arrests. And to make things even more, uh, you know, interesting is the Ooni of Eve's ex-wife is in the middle of all this.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to unpack all of this using an article from the Vanguard, which is a pretty big news outlet in Nigeria.
Okay, cool.
So what makes this case so interesting is that it's mixing legal stuff with cultural stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
And, the Uni of Ice isn't just some ex-husband in this situation.
Right.
He had a lot of traditional and spiritual power in Nigeria. So
Yeah.
for anyone listening who might not know about the Uni, can you kind of explain why this guy is so important in Nigeria?
Yeah, so the Ooni of Ife is considered like a direct descendant from the Yoruba deity Oduwa,
Okay,
and Oduduwa is believed to be the ancestor of the Yoruba people.
I see.
So this lineage connects him to like a super rich history and spirituality, which makes him like really revered.
Okay, so that's the background. But
Mhm.
let's get into like what actually went down in Ibadan.
All right.
Like what happened?
So there was a stampede in Ibadan,
Okay.
and the details are still a little fuzzy.
Okay.
But we know that several people were caught in all the chaos, including the Uni's ex-wife,
Uh-huh.
and this led to a bunch of arrests.
You don't usually see people getting arrested just for being in a stampede, though.
Right.
Like, what's the deal with that?
That's what everyone's wondering.
Yeah.
And it's where the legal stuff comes in.
Right.
So the court is currently figuring out bail applications for all the people who got arrested,
Okay.
including the Uni's ex-wife.
So we've got this mystery about what happened in the stampede,
Yeah,
plus the Uni's ex-wife being involved, which just makes everything more complicated.
absolutely.
And it's all going down in court.
Yeah.
So this brings up a big question. What are the legal consequences of all of this? Like, could this set a precedent for how they handle stuff like this in the future, especially when it involves people with traditional authority?
Right. That is the big question, and it's what makes this whole case so interesting.
Yeah.
The court's decision could have a huge impact even beyond the people involved.
Wow.
Like, it could change how people view traditional authority and how it works with the legal system in Nigeria.
So this whole thing feels really tense.
For sure.
You've got the immediate effects on the people who were arrested,
Yeah.
but then there's also the possibility that this case could change things all over Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think this will all play out? Like, what long-term consequences should we be thinking about?
Well, it's tough to say for sure, but everyone's going to be watching what happens with this case closely.
Bet.
It could either increase or totally destroy public trust in both traditional institutions and the legal process,
Oh, wow.
depending on how it all goes down.
So while we're waiting to see what the court decides,
Yeah.
what should we be thinking about?
I think this case shows how complicated things are when you mix tradition and modern life in a place like Nigeria.
Right.
It really makes you question the role of traditional leaders in the 21st century
Yeah.
and how their power interacts with legal systems.
It's definitely something to think about. And with such important people involved and with the weight of the Uni's position, how could this case affect public trust in traditional leadership and the law in Nigeria? It's definitely something to keep an eye on as this story develops. And that wraps up another deep dive. We'll see you next time.